Ah, hello, people of the internet. It's me. It's you. It's us. Together again at last. How have you been? Good. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that. Me? Oh, I'm doing well. I'm still in dire need of a haircut, hence the hat, and mostly I've been sitting here waiting patiently for the next time that we get to spend an hour together investigating another aspect of the customer experience and how that leads to business growth. Which reminds me, now is one of those times. One of those times I've been waiting for. What a coincidence. Welcome back to Growth Decoded, a show on the internet. I'm your host, Ernie Santorelli, and we've got an absolute sockdologer of a show for you today. But first, as always, let's check in with the official mascot of Growth Decoded, the living embodiment of growth itself, Plantasia, the Growth Decoded plant. Here's how it started, and here's how it's going. Look at this, unreal progress that you'd have to see to believe, and that's pretty convenient because you're seeing it right now. Now, all is well with Plantasia, and all is well with our second announcement today, branded goodies. A few episodes ago, we let you know that they were coming. Well, they're here, or they're on their way here, and then they'll be on their way there to where you are, should you want them. Now, what do you have to do to get them? Well, that's easy. We're going to send you an email with a link to a form, and you're going to click on that link and then fill out the information that the form is requesting, and then some time is going to pass. And then the branded goodies will arrive at the location that you specified when you clicked on the link and filled out the form. Magic. And postage, which is basically magic for packages. Okay, that concludes today's announcements. On to today's topic. Abandoned cart. What is it? Well, in an online or e-commerce store, you might be perusing. You might see something that you like. You might like it so much that you have half a mind or more to buy it. So you put it in your cart. Now, an abandoned cart scenario happens when one of your customers, or in this scenario you add that item to your cart, and then you leave before completing the purchase. Because life happens, right? You put the item in your cart, you fully intended to keep shopping, but for whatever reason, navigated away from the page. Or you don't like the price. Or you don't want to create an account. Or you felt the vibration of a text message in your pocket, so you checked your phone, you got distracted, or you hear something or someone fall down the stairs, so you have to go and investigate. Or your stomach growls and you realize that it's been 14 hours since your last meal, so you have to go take care of that. Or literally anything else happens that causes you to get up, walk away, and leave that item in your cart. Basically, this action or inaction can lead to a high number of lost sales and hurt your bottom line. And this scenario is common. How common? Well, let's take a look here. Millions of shopping carts are abandoned every year. I mean, look at these poor carts. This one here is standing next to a mailbox in the rain. It knows that at one point there was a product that it had to send somewhere via USPS. And this one? Confused, disheveled, upside down after having been left alone in the timeless and terrifying expanse of the internet. And these? One's at McDonald's. Perhaps the abandoner left because the McRib was back and they just couldn't wait. And this one in the middle seems to be searching for the product in the trash, thinking that maybe it could have been thrown away by mistake. And this last one here, staring into the woods, facing existential crisis. Why am I here? What purpose do I serve if not to be the conduit from online store to real-life happiness in the form of a delivered good? Now, today we're going to start a movement to reclaim the carts. If you see an abandoned cart somewhere, anywhere in the world, take a photo of it. Tag ActiveCampaign with the hashtag #ReclaimTheCarts. Because the truth is, we abandon a lot of carts. How many, you ask? Well, let's take a look at these as a percentage. According to Sales Cycle in 2020, 84.27% of online carts were abandoned. According to Brilliance in 2019, 77.13% were abandoned. According to Fresh Relevance in 2018, 56.82%. According to Sales Cycle in 2018, 75.6%. According to Abandonade in 2017, 81.4%. And according to Sales Cycle in 2017, 76.9%. So how many carts? Too many carts. Too much revenue left on the table. Too many people leaving products that spoke to them in their carts. Too many. But what can we do about it? Well, if you run an online shop or an e-commerce store, you can remind your potential customers about the thing that they put in their cart. And you can do that automatically with automation. But how? Actually, Tim and Molly from ActiveCampaign answered a question from the ActiveCampaign community about this issue very recently. So Let's turn it over to them in this episode's installment of our customer evangelist Tim and community manager Molly answer questions from the ActiveCampaign community.
77% of online shopping carts are abandoned. That's more than 3/4.
It's 6 slices of an 8-slice pizza. A pineapple and sausage pizza. Why do so many customers abandon their carts? And why does pineapple and sausage pizza taste so very good?
Hi, I'm Molly from ActiveCampaign.
And I'm Tim from ActiveCampaign.
We have a question from our community that we're going to answer. Today, we have a question that asks, can someone please show me how to implement abandoned cart functionality? We have you covered. Today, let's talk about abandoned carts. Why do 77% of people abandon their carts? Maybe they got distracted. Maybe they forgot they even have a cart. Maybe they don't like the price. Or maybe they were just browsing.
Abandoned cart emails are a super effective way to recover carts and improve sales. Research shows that abandoned cart emails have an average open rate of 43% and an average click-through rate of 21%. And half of those people make a purchase. That means that a single abandoned cart email could turn 10% of the people it's sent to into customers. But what if you sent more than just one? Using multiple abandoned cart emails gives you more opportunities to win back customers. This can be accomplished using ActiveCampaign's e-commerce integrations with platforms like Shopify and WooCommerce. You can use the provided abandoned cart trigger to automatically start an automation when a contact abandons a cart in your store.
Let's explore what an abandoned cart email series could look like, starting with email number 1, the 1-hour email. The 1-hour email is your first line of defense once the cart has been abandoned. In this first email, there's really no need to get fancy. It's tempting to throw in related products, coupons, or jazzy images. But because this is a series of emails, we'll have time for all of that stuff later. Right now, we just have to remind them of what they're missing. Include a simple reminder, an image of your product, and a single call to action. And that's it. This brings us to email number 2, the 1 day later email.
There are many reasons someone might have missed your first email. Maybe they left work and you have their work email. Maybe they were shopping at night and just went to sleep. Shopping at night is the best. With the second email, you have more possibilities. Did someone open your first email but not convert? Tweak the email content. Highlight a different benefit or offer social proof. Did someone fail to open your email entirely? Consider resending your first email with a different subject line.
Let's talk about email number 3, the 3 to 5 day email. Your visitor has gotten 2 abandoned cart emails and still hasn't become a customer. It's time to follow up one more time. Why is this the last email in this series? Why not keep sending more and more emails until your contact converts? Chances are, if someone abandons a cart and then ignores 3 abandoned cart emails, they're probably not going to make a purchase. Regardless of why they weren't interested in the first place, you don't want to keep spamming them because they may mark your emails as spam. Before you give up, you've got one last trick up your sleeve, a coupon.
Coupons can be tricky. You don't want to put a coupon too early in your abandoned cart series because people will learn that abandoning their cart is a quick way to get a discount. If you use coupons too often, you train people to wait for discounts before buying. But after 3 to 5 days, you've probably converted all the people who were already interested in your products. A 10% off coupon might just be enough to convince the others. One effective technique is to offer a coupon to new customers who abandon their carts. This is a clever way to increase first-time buyers while not encouraging repeat customers to game the system by abandoning their carts.
Once someone recovers an abandoned cart, they're a customer. And you can use the information you have to target them with cross-sells, upsells, and relevant offers. All because you decided to keep pushing after that first email failed.
There we have it. We had a question from our community that we were going to answer. And we did.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tim and Molly. But let's see what this looks like in real life. Now, to learn more about abandoned carts, I sat down with members of 2 different e-commerce businesses. The first is Jonathan, and he's the e-commerce manager from a company called Jinx. Okay, yes, and now I am joined by Jonathan Young, who is the e-commerce manager at Jinx. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time today. Welcome to Growth Decoded.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. So before we get into the abandoned cart stuff, I was just hoping you could give us a little background on Jinx, what you do there, and just a little background about the company and the products that you sell.
So Jinx is kind of the geekiness of all geeks. We're video gamers. We don't make the video games, but we make all the merchandise for the video games. So we are the guys that play the video games, and we make all the stuff for the gamers. So shirts, hats, wallets, toys, keychains, all that fun little stuff. So, I mean, it's a really tough job. I have to play video games for market research.
Yeah, that sounds tough.
It's a fun little gig, and I've got toys all over my place. I mean, you've got records and books on your bookshelf.
Yes,
I've got toys, just because it's what we sell. So,
right on. That's awesome. Cool. So, is that jinx.com if we wanted to check that out? Is that right?
Yeah, JINX. And we've been around for about 22 years.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So, and same two guys that started the company are with us, and they still play video games every day, just like the rest of us too. So.
Awesome. The second business that we'll hear from is Made for Freedom. And I sat down with Dawn, founder and CEO, to learn more. All right, yes, and now I am joined by Dawn Manske, the founder and CEO, Chief Everything Officer of Made for Freedom. I could explain a little bit about Made for Freedom, but who better to do it than Dawn? Dawn, welcome to Growth Decoded. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and Made for Freedom?
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. It's fun. It's fun just even to meet virtually, wherever everybody is. I'm Dawn Manske. Made for Freedom is a social enterprise. We are a lifestyle brand that carries products made by survivors of human trafficking and those coming out of marginalization. So we have products from about 15 centers around the world, from the United States to India to Nepal to Cambodia, Philippines, you get the idea. Wow. About 15 centers. All of the centers are providing restorative services, preventative services around exploitation, marginalization, and human trafficking.
Wow, that is amazing. Fantastic business, fantastic store. At present, I don't have the shirt. It is out for delivery, but folks will be seeing me wearing the shirt during this program. So sort of past meets present, I guess. Okay, now that we have met our guests, let's jump in. With the majority of online shopping carts being abandoned, it seems like a fairly important source of potential customers and revenue. But how important is it? What was life like before the abandoned cart automation? How much of a difference does it actually make? You know what? I wish we could ask someone about this. I wish we could ask Finch about this. Finch was one of the first guests on Growth Decoded. Finch is a product marketing manager at ActiveCampaign. She also runs an e-commerce business called Scofflaw Varnish, where she sells boutique nail polishes. I think she would have some really great insight into this.
Ernie, I'm right here.
Finch, holy cannoli, you're right here.
I know. Yes, I'm here.
I suppose you are.
Well,
Finch, now that you're here, how important is abandoned cart automation?
Really important. If you run an e-commerce business and don't have abandoned cart automation set up, you're leaving a lot of lost sales on the table, over 3/4 of them. And you could easily recover them with minimal efforts. But let's hear about how important it is to Jonathan and Jinx.
I mean, you had mentioned that, you had turned it on about 1.5 years ago, but you had the desire to have it prior to that. So what was life like before that automation? Was it, kind of interesting just knowing that these potential customers existed? And can you kind of walk me through, like, what was it like before that?
Well, there was nothing before that. We didn't have any way to communicate to our customers that were abandoning their cart. We had a custom website.
Okay.
And a custom that our bosses created 20 years ago.
Sure.
and it was old and it needed to be retired. Not my boss's, the website.
Right.
And so that's why we went to something a little bit more simple, something that could be maintained a little bit more without having to dive into a custom code.
Okay.
Every single time. And that code had been worked on by, a dozen, 24 different people over 20 years, that when the bosses looked at it, they're like, I don't know what happened here. And so anytime I wanted something changed, it took weeks and weeks for somebody to reprogram it. Now with Shopify, it was, that was so easy to go in and fix something and change something. So, I didn't even know how many people were abandoning their cart, and I didn't have the access to all those stats. And so now just to be able to see that and to see, okay, these are people, to see that stat and to see that information, I can actually take action on not only just abandon shopping cart, but take other action on, what people are looking at, what people are pairing together in their shopping cart, what people are leaving the site on, a lot of different action on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that makes a lot of sense. I feel like, that's got to be the case with so many different websites, where it's like we've had this website, and then as time goes on, these different solutions come about, right? With the emergence and the accessibility of different website builders and whatnot. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people watching right now. So it's really changed a lot for Jinx, from finding new revenue to getting deeper insights into their business and their audience. But let's hear about it from Dawn's perspective. How important then, do you think the abandoned cart functionality is at this point?
I think it's great. I know I use it when I have been shopping somewhere else.
Right.
And you can't see it right now, but I have 3 monitors and each one has maybe 10 to 15 tabs. Like, I'm multitasking all the time, and I might go somewhere. You got to get a special kind of computer to handle this many tabs, I tell you. But I do it all the time. I'll compose an email and I forget to hit send. I put something in a shopping cart, I forget to hit buy. Like, I appreciate it myself. And when I see the numbers and the reports coming in from this automation, I'm like, I'm so glad that I've got that. Because I'm not going to be able, obviously, that's what automations are for. I can't follow up with people and go, hey, you forgot something. But ActiveCampaign takes care of that, and the person is reminded. And if it's anyone close to what my life is like, they're like, oh, thank you. I forgot it. I didn't hit buy.
Right. I think that's such an important point about it too, is that, it can be looked at in maybe 2 different ways. And maybe this depends on how the language that you use in those emails. But one could be, oh, of course they're sending me this email. They just want me to buy. But I like, the way that we're talking about it. And I think that this is super true just across everybody, especially nowadays. 1, with all those tabs open, but 2, you're just busy and you forget things. And it's sort of just like, hey, you liked this enough to put it in your cart. Here's another reminder. Like, you did this, maybe here, just a reminder.
Abandoned cart emails are a nice, gentle reminder that the visitor may want to buy that thing, but life got in the way. So what do these look like in practice? We asked the ActiveCampaign marketing team for examples, and they sent us a few. This first one is from Flow Lab. Take a look here, straight to the point. And a gentle reminder of the product, some urgency that the cart is going to expire in 48 hours, and an added reason to convert, a 20% off coupon. The text-only approach and personalized sign-off makes this email feel really human. And the subject line tells you everything that you need to know.
Now, this next email comes from Malvin Golf. Again, a gentle reminder. Great language here. You're 90% of the way there. And the benefits in the copy. Up your wardrobe. Big CTA buttons lead you back to the cart checkout page, but they don't stop there. Here's a second email. This time with an added incentive, a 10% off coupon to sweeten that deal and help customers get over the line. But they don't stop there either. Check this out. They send you a text just in case you didn't see the emails. Now, this is a great example of taking the concept a step further than just a simple email automation. These texts are short, they're to the point, they're not invasive, and again, they're gentle reminders of how a contact can convert.
And here we have an email from Sephora. This one is a bit longer. As you can see, the image on the right is below the fold. So this email shows the cart, big CTA buttons leading you back, and then below the fold, recommendations, products related to the items you had in the cart. And to take things further, added benefits of shopping at Sephora. From samples to pickup options, Sephora uses the abandoned cart email to further cement the value and benefits that you could receive from being a customer. But what about our guests? What do their automations look like for the abandoned cart scenario? Here's what Dawn had to say about Made for Freedom.
Awesome. And you mentioned three emails.
Yeah.
Could you say like a little bit about the spacing or the time between those 3 emails?
I think they were the ones recommended by ActiveCampaign.
Oh, okay. So did you leave the wait steps the same as they are in the recipe?
I'm pretty sure. Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
I could double check that for you.
Oh.
I can do anything for you, Ernie.
Oh, thank you so much.
We just met 3 minutes ago, but we're like best buds now.
Absolutely.
Well,
hey, while you're looking for that, have the results of the abandoned cart automation, what have those been like? And you can speak to, the one that you have running currently or the one before then as well.
Well, the one that I have running now has done really well. What I love is the percentage, like the open rate has been 42.8%.
Oh, wow.
Which is awesome. And so in this past 7 months, and it's done well. The percentages sound better. We've had some significant issues with marketing and Facebook jail over the past several months. So the number of emails that have gone out is not quite what I would like, but it has brought in almost $500 of revenue, even though our online sales have tanked because of Facebook jail issues.
Interesting. I'm sorry to hear about all that.
Way more than you wanted to hear, but
No. I mean, that's the real world. That's the case for a lot of businesses, I would imagine, at this moment in time with all those changes and everything that's going on. I guess so. Prior to Facebook jail, were the results were noticeable then of the abandoned cart automation?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Before then, and maybe you could speak to this before the previous one too, what was it like before then? I mean, in terms of knowing, did you have insight into how many carts were being abandoned and sort of not being able to communicate with them? Or can you speak to life before the abandoned cart automation?
Well, before this one, I actually was using my own.
Okay.
And it wasn't as effective. I didn't see as many conversions coming from that. And I think part of it was the timing. Part of it was the number of emails, reminding people are busy.
Right.
And they might miss the first one. And if you're only sending out one and it got missed, then it's gone. So I liked the template that I found. And the timing on that one is it's like 30 minutes. If someone has not purchased, it's 30 minutes later, there's the first email, and then it waits 1 day, and then it waits 1 more day.
Okay.
And it's kind of did you forget something? And then the next day, your cart is on sale, and we offer them a coupon. And then the last day says last chance. And, and it's kind of, we're not going to bother you forever.
Right.
But just in case you forgot, you have a cart waiting. So I think it's working well because we very much went with a new branding. I was working with a new marketing person, and she really kind of gave a new look to our email templates, the emails that we send out, and the emails in this. So it very much goes with the branding of what our new look is. So I think that is helpful as well.
Yeah, creating that consistent experience across all the different channels. Of those 3 emails, is there one that performs particularly well? Are they all sort of like, I mean, obviously everybody is different, and it might be the 30-minute one for some and the one 2 days later for others, but is the conversion rate across all 3 of those relatively consistent, or how does that look?
It actually, it goes, the first one, open rate is highest.
Okay.
And then the second one is a little lower, and then the third one is a little lower than that.
Okay. But they're all pretty.
Yeah, the third one is a 20% open rate.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
they're all working. That's awesome.
They are all working, and they're being opened.
3 emails spaced out across a few days. First, just a reminder, and then an incentive. But as Dawn said, each of them performs well. Each email gets opened. What do they actually look like? Now, to find out, we actually abandoned a cart on Made for Freedom's website. Sorry, Dawn, it was for science. And here's what they look like. Here's email 1. A straightforward, gentle reminder. A nice image and consistent branding, as Dawn mentioned. Not only that, but the image of the product and the whole cart is included at the bottom of the email, providing a visual reminder of the product as well.
And here's email 2, the introduction of the sale. This image is actually a GIF or a GIF, we're not getting into it, that rotates a carousel of 3 images, including the promo code and reminding you that the card is on sale. This creates urgency with a 24-hour time limit, provides an incentive, and again, shows the product. And finally, email 3, the last chance email. As Dawn mentioned, none of these emails are overly salesy. They're not pushy. They're not a hard sell. They're simple and to the point. You put this in your cart, here it is, and hey, here's a discount for you.
Now let's take a listen to how Jinx approaches their abandoned cart automation. If we tie this back to then the abandoned cart automation, is there anything that you're doing with those folks, right? Are you segmenting them? Are you tagging them based on the fact that they've entered that automation? Does anything happen if they convert versus if they don't? Or does anything happen to them like after the abandoned cart automation?
So our abandoned cart is not that robust. It's like, did you buy, did you not buy?
Okay.
So it's a little simple right now.
Okay. And you had mentioned kind of like the A/B testing and tweaking the copy of the email or when it gets sent. So how often do you revisit the automation? How often do you test or kind of try to improve it?
Constantly.
Okay.
Constantly. So I know a lot of people, and I was kind of this way, is like, oh, I don't want to test. That just seems daunting.
Right.
And it's not, I don't really see it as a test. I see it as a tweak.
Okay.
Because I'm constantly tweaking it. So Shopify, for all the people out there that have Shopify has an abandoned shopping cart automation built in.
Right.
But it's just one email.
Right.
And that's it. We do 2 emails.
Okay.
My last company did 3, and we're thinking about expanding this to 3. And that's going to be one of our next tweaks.
Okay.
Tweaks, using figure quotes. So we've tested how quickly to send out the first email after they've abandoned the cart. And so our first email is just, hey, you've left something in your cart.
Right.
And that's all it says.
And how quickly does that go out?
So right now that goes out 5 hours.
Okay.
So we've tested that from 5 hours to 8 hours.
Okay.
No, we've tested that from 3 hours to 5 hours to 8 hours. And so 5 hours was kind of the sweet spot for us. I'm not saying that everybody out there has to do 5 hours. No, that's just for us. That's where it fits.
Okay.
And then we do a second email, and that's where we offer a discount. And it's like, hey, we're still holding your stuff in your cart. And I think it stays in their cart for a while in our system. Come back and purchase it, and we'll offer you a discount. And it's got a promo code in there. And it says, purchase now or purchase within 48 hours. And, there's a little sense of urgency there. Mm-hmm. And we'll give you right now it's a 30% discount, which is very lucrative.
Yeah, wow.
And we've tested, actually that 30% discount is one of our tests that we've done. It was a 20% discount. And I wanted to know, well, what if we did a 25% or 30% discount? Is there a huge increase if we did 30% or 25%? Obviously, people want 30%.
Sure.
But I wanted to know, would there be a big enough increase to do 30%? Or are they just going to be happy with 20%? And we saw a big jump between 20 to 25%, but not that big of a difference between 25 and 30%. So, but I still left it at 30%. So
interesting. I mean, I love how granular you're getting with these tests. I mean, this is the good stuff, right? I mean, okay, so time duration, size of discount, how often, or what's the sending cadence of that second email? How quickly does it go out after the first?
So we tested it, I think it was originally set at 2 days, and we tested it at 1 day, 2 days, and 3 days.
Okay.
And I think it's set at 1 day right now.
Okay.
And so it goes out the next day.
Do you do any experimentation or tweaking, with the like subject line or the actual content, like body copy of the email, the writing, anything like that?
We tweaked. I think we got recommended by our Megan, our account rep, on trying emojis.
Oh, okay.
So we tried little emojis in there. Didn't get that big of a response out of it. Nothing measurable.
Okay.
I thought it was cute, but nothing really measurable. So we tried that in the subject lines. We're going to switch out. Our next test is going to be the copy, because it's very our email design mimics the Shopify. What do we call them? Transactional emails.
Okay.
So when you get an email from Shopify, it says your order's been placed, your order's been shipped, and so it matches that.
Right.
And then our other email marketing is very fancy and artsy and whatnot. And so we're going to make this a little bit fancier. Is our next one, a little bit cuter, and that's going to be our next one. It's getting a little silly and crazy.
Yeah, get that brand voice in there
with the copy. So I mean, it's cute, but we're still gonna. I mean, we're getting good results out of it right now, but we want to see, can we get better results?
Right.
If it would be a little bit more silly.
So with all of these tweaks, these tests that you're running, how long do you let the test run before you determine if you're going to, implement the change or keep it the way that it was?
Until I get good enough. Well, it kind of depends.
Okay.
Sometimes I see a difference right away, but I don't have enough. I want to see enough people in the numbers. Right. Like I may run it for 2 weeks, but there's not enough people in the queue yet. Like I may run it for 2 weeks and I'll see, oh, this one's only got 10% and this one's got 80%. But there's there's not enough people in that queue. And so I'll run it for another couple of weeks to see how it runs. Or I may run it for 2 weeks and there's like 5 bazillion people in that queue and there's no results. So, it just kind of depends. I want to hit like that sweet spot of there's enough people in that queue. And I also see a good result out of it. And if there's a lot of people in there and I see no result, then okay, no change. I just pick A or B, whichever one I think is good.
Sure.
That's just my decision.
So it's like you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So Jinx uses 2 emails, but the same approach, right? First email, a gentle reminder, and the second email is where the discount and the incentive come in. Now, you heard Jonathan also talk about the tweaks and consistent reevaluation that goes into the abandoned cart automations. Now, again, we abandoned a cart on the Jinx website, again, for science, just to see what happened. And let's take a look at them. Here's email 1. Straightforward, consistent branding, gentle reminder, product images. I mean, it's got everything that you would want to know. And here's email 2. Now, I love the header here. We're still holding your order. It's very helpful. And then comes the incentive, right? Tied in with urgency, 48 hours to use the code. Again, it includes the picture of the product, the cart itself, and a big CTA to bring you back to the checkout page. And notice how in all of these examples, the copy is short, it's concise, and it's to the point. There aren't any unnecessary words, there's no big sales pitch, there's no attempt at convincing. Remember what that Melbourne Golf abandoned cart email said. You're 90% of the way there. Your potential customers have already put the thing in their cart. It's clear that there is intent, there's a desire to purchase. You don't have to do anything else but remind them of the thing that they like and their desire to have it. That's it. Now, we have an interesting opportunity to talk through an abandoned cart automation with the creator of an abandoned cart automation, Finch. As we mentioned, Finch owns and operates Scofflaw Varnish. Finch sells her products online and has her abandoned cart automation set up. So, Finch, can I ask you a few questions about your abandoned cart automation?
Yes, you can.
Okay. How long have you had it set up for?
Over 2 years at this point.
Over 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
And what have the results been like in those 2 years?
Really good. When I first heard about abandoned cart and they're like, oh, you can recover up to 10% of lost sales, I was like, I'll give it a go. We'll see. Fact is, I double checked 12%. I actually recovered 12% of my abandoned carts.
You are overachieving. That's awesome. How many emails are in your automation?
2. One that goes out about an hour after they abandon the cart.
Okay.
And a second one that goes out 24 hours later, which reminds them I tend to sell out. So if they want it, they need to jump on it now.
So create that urgency.
Yes.
And then another gentle reminder in case they missed the first one.
Exactly. But keeping it conversational and not too pushy.
Absolutely. And have the open rates and everything been pretty high for those?
Over 50%.
Wow.
Yep.
Can we take a look at them?
Sure. Just for you, Ernie.
Oh, well, thank you very much. All right, let's see if we can get this up on the screen here. Here it is. Here's Finch's abandoned cart email. Finch, can you walk us through what we're looking at here?
Yes. First of all, you do not see images in here right now. You just see the code. And this is bringing up the items that they abandoned in their cart. So that's what you're looking at there. And as you can see, it's very conversational. It's to the point. They don't need to do a lot of scrolling to get to the point. And like I said, we keep it conversational. We notice that you haven't completed your purchase yet. And it's not too late, but it will be soon since Scofflaw polishes usually sell out. And, one simple, straightforward CTA. And at the very bottom, that is my dog, Ziggy Pop. He shows up on most of our emails. And then at the very bottom, just that required footer header or footer language that you want in every email that goes out.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is really cool. This is kind of like a glimpse behind the curtain where you get to see, in the previous images that we looked at or the previous examples we looked at, you could see the image of the cart. You could see those different images as you had mentioned, but here you only see the code. So this is kind of what it would look like for a creator of an abandoned cart email. And you just mentioned in the footer here, what does this say at the bottom? You can click here to look at a picture of a little toad that looks like a furious avocado?
Yes, it does say that. And there is a link.
Okay, I've got to see this. All right, let's see what this looks like. Oh, gee, wow. He truly does look like a furious avocado.
Well, I think this is a very important toad, and I think it's very important that people see this toad that looks like a furious little avocado, and there's their opportunity. And there are certain points during the year, especially around holidays and Black Friday, where if people go into the footer, see that, and click through, they get an automated discount code sent to them for discovering the furious toad that looks like a little avocado.
That is some next level. I don't even know what to call that. That's amazing. I love it. All right.
Well, now that we have a few different emails that we've looked at, what makes a good abandoned cart email? First of all, keep it low pressure. No one likes a hard sell. Include the items that they left behind. Visual, give them that visual reminder, and include a single clear CTA. And make sure the email is aligned with your brand and tone so it doesn't feel impersonal. But what do Jonathan and Dawn think?
Like, what makes an abandoned cart email good? Like, in your opinion, what's the difference between a good one or maybe like a bad one or a not as good one?
Um, from my perspective or from the customer's perspective?
Either, both, wherever you want to take it.
Well, from my perspective, one that works.
Okay.
One that converts. One that speaks to my customers. And that's kind of why I used the air quotes earlier of the industry standards. There's the industry standards, but then you need to customize those standards for your own company.
Right.
Does 2 days work? Does 3 days work? Does 1 email work? Does 2 emails work? Does 5 emails work? Does silly emails work? Does professional emails work? What works best for your customers? You're not going to know that till you test or till you tweak. Of course, you got to start somewhere, and you start with those industry standards.
Sure.
And then you just tweak until you find something that works for you and works for your customers. And then I guess to use that same answer from a customer's perspective is what works for me as a customer is what speaks to me.
Right. Know your audience.
Know your audience.
Yeah.
And that tweaking and that testing is what allows me to do it.
Yeah. Know your customer. It will make the email work from the perspective of the e-commerce business owner as well as the customer. You have to know your audience. How do they talk? What do they want to know? Writing for your audience in particular is the best bet for creating an abandoned cart email that works, or really writing any email that works. But let's hear what Dawn had to say about the same topic. So if we're shifting gears again, back to the abandoned cart automation, with the 3 emails that you have, what, in your opinion, makes a good abandoned cart email?
I think kind of what I was mentioning before, not bothering someone forever.
Right.
People always appreciate a deal. So that's going to be kind of part of it. The second one that we send out has a coupon code. So that's an encouragement, I think. But I just keeping it simple, keeping it concise, like we were talking about. Here's a reminder. Like I'm not a hard sales person. Like I don't like a hard sell, hard sale, whatever it is. I don't like it. I tell stories. I talk about my product. I talk about changing lives. And if that's not what you want to be a part of, I'm fine with that. I'm not going to say, oh, but you have to buy this. And I'm not going to pound you over the head 100 times.
Right.
I'm going to say, hey, you may have forgotten. You thought we were cool at one moment, come on back and check us out. But I think the 3 works well. The fact that I've got a decent open rate on all 3, like the lowest open rate is 20%. I don't think I'm irritating people. I don't think I'm bothering people. I think I'm just getting in front of them again and saying, hey, what do you think?
Right.
Just a reminder, good abandoned cart emails aren't bothersome. They don't push too hard. They're simple, helpful, and empathetic to the fact that sometimes life gets in the way and things are going to fall through the cracks. And what's interesting abandoned cart emails is that sometimes the unexpected happen once you get it up and running. But I'm not the only one who's been surprised by them. Here's what Jonathan said about the abandoned cart automation.
Okay, so you had mentioned when you started the abandoned cart, when you flipped it on, you followed best practices, and I liked how you put it there. So what, if anything, surprised you about, what didn't work that was following best practices, or what did you change that, has anything surprised you throughout this process?
I'm surprised at the number. There's 2 surprises,
okay.
I think. One is the number of people that convert in the first email. So let's say I'm going to give vague answers so I don't have to give away any corporate secrets or anything like that.
Absolutely.
So let's say in a week, email number 1 generates about $6,000 in business. And keep in mind, that's a lot of business for me because our t-shirts are $20.
Yeah.
So, and email number 2 generated about $10,000 in business. So I'm surprised that email number 1 is just a, hey, you forgot something in your cart.
Right.
That's all it is. There's no incentive. It's just a reminder. It's just a abandoned cart reminder. And that's all it does, is it just taps them on their shoulder. There's no incentive. There's no bonus. It's just they're saying, hey, hi, come back, please.
Hey, remember this thing? You like this thing.
You like this thing. There's, because, a lot of abandoned cart is always about an incentive, trying to get them to come back.
Right.
And there's no incentive there. It's just, hi, come, please. So it's just, but with that, the second email, which surprises me, is that there is an incentive, and 30% is a pretty good incentive to come back and shop, and it requires a promo code. But the number of people that come back and convert that don't use the promo code, which has nothing to do with the abandoned shopping cart campaign, it has to do with people forgetting to use their promo code when they shop.
Right.
They just purchase at full price. So I'm okay with that. But I mean, about 2/3 of the people forget to use the promo code when they shop.
Wow. So it could really be as simple as just reminding your customers that they were interested. That's all it takes. What does Dawn have to say? So has anything surprised you about the abandoned cart automation, whether that's the results or the functionality or anything around the abandoned cart automation that's sort of taken you by surprise?
I liked when I got in there and found the template with the 3 parts, because I knew that I could do it. And I don't know if you had the template and I just went on my own and I was like, oh, I'll do it by myself. But you guys are always adding new functionality. So I don't know when I started my first one, but the one I started most recently in December, it was nice to find that. And, you guys have this expertise, and I'm like, okay, it's nice to see, okay, 3 emails. Here's the time I should wait. I don't need to go research and take a class on this. So finding that template and the fact that it has been really effective, like the fact that people are opening stuff is lovely.
So in Dawn's case, no overhaul was necessary. The template and ActiveCampaign automation recipe worked. And that's the thing about abandoned cart automations. The beauty of them is you set them up and they run and they work. And in my experience, this has been a huge benefit, but not everyone sees it this way. Some businesses, like Jonathan and Jinx, are iterating and changing their automation pretty regularly. So what's next for them?
You mentioned moving from a 2-email abandoned cart automation to a 3-email potentially. What other things, like what's next for Jinx in terms of automation, or what's next for you? What would you like to build into the program?
I think the third one that we're considering is the third email that we're considering adding is a reassurance email. Maybe repeating the promo code, but also we have a lot of sweet benefits of shopping with Jinx. And there's a lot of challenges of selling apparel online. Is it going to fit? Am I going to like the material? Can I return it? So we're thinking about adding a couple of reassurances. We offer a 120-day return policy. We offer free shipping over $80. A couple of those key benefits, we have great customer service, maybe a cool picture of our customer service gal, just a few little key reassurances to say, hey, if you're not quite sure, these are some things that might help answer some of their questions.
Sure. Just get in front of those potential objections or any hangups that they might have. That's awesome. So a third email might be in the card soon for Jinx, and with some added benefits and objection handling. Again, note that they're not pushing hard for the sale. They're just letting you know the benefits and advantages of shopping with them. This is a great example of how you can take the abandoned cart automation just a step further. You can use it to share information that's more specific and relevant to a particular group of people. In this case, it doesn't make sense to send everyone an email about these benefits of shopping with Jinx, but to the people who have already indicated purchase intent, but they haven't yet converted, those people are the perfect audience. Speaking of which, we shopped with them. And here's what we bought. This hat. Place this. See? Definitely still in need of a haircut. But there you have it. What about Made for Freedom? What's next for them?
Okay, so along the same lines then, back to abandoned cart, but also combining this, do you have anything special that happens to the contacts who happen to go through your abandoned cart automation? Or are there any plans in the future for segmenting them, putting them into a different automation, anything special for those contacts?
A couple things. We have these amazing products, but there's such a powerful story behind each one.
Right.
And every product has its own story. So there are different stories, and I'm in the midst of creating product videos. So those will go on the website so that I can kind of tell some of the story behind that. We have product actually in physical locations now, which is new within the past 3 months. And I have a QR code, which I could show you right now, except it's down there. A QR code. So as people are walking through and they see our products, and promote this QR code, and that will open up a page of stories. So it's all these video stories. Well, creating if someone purchases, let's say they buy the hummingbird necklace, I can create an automation that says, oh, thank you so much for your purchase. Here's a video with a little background. Like, it's stainless steel, It was made at this center by survivors coming out of northern China.
Yeah.
So I can tell the specific story when someone purchases, but also I can specify the abandoned cart, because the abandoned cart can also, so I can also send that video and say, because then it's kind of, okay, I put a hummingbird necklace in my cart. Do I really want it? Do I want to spend that much money? And then they get this email with a bit of the story about how this is changing lives.
Right.
And go, this isn't just a pretty necklace.
Right.
This is impacting lives. So I'm excited. I have a lot of plans for these little product videos, but one of them will be incorporated into the abandoned cart.
That's brilliant. And especially with the way that today's consumers are shifting more towards, people want to know the story behind things. They want to know the story behind the company, behind the products, what it's made out of, where it's sourced from, who's making it, all these different things. I think that is absolutely brilliant to include in the abandoned cart automation, especially because it's, like you're saying, just giving them whatever they need to click the button and actually convert, as opposed to, navigating off the page. Wow, that's awesome.
So this idea is another way to take the abandoned cart automation further. Tell the story of the products. Create a more personalized experience for your potential customers. But not just any product, right? The product that the customer left in their cart. Dawn is seizing the opportunity to give her customers more than just a gentle reminder to buy, but a reminder of what the company stands for, what the products mean, where they came from. This is similar to Jonathan's third email with Jinx. It's answering questions that the shopper may not have even realized they had, but it's creating a deeper connection with the customer and helping them to feel closer to the company. And all this comes from an abandoned cart email. Videos that tell the story of the product that a shopper may have abandoned in their cart, that's genius. Now, what's interesting is that we abandoned a t-shirt in our online shopping cart. But what's the story behind the shirt?
I bought the Seek Justice t-shirt from Made for Freedom. And I was wondering, we've talked about the stories behind the products and that you love to tell the stories. So I'm wondering, could you tell me the story behind the Seek Justice t-shirt?
I would love to tell you the story behind that shirt. So, see, the shirt is royal blue, white lettering, different font sizes, and it says "Seek justice, love mercy, walk humbly." You're wearing it so well, I'm sure.
Thank you.
This t-shirt, I love telling the story. Can you tell I like the stories behind our products? Okay.
I can. It's very apparent.
This t-shirt, made in India. And that sounds very easy to say. And that's it. And we don't even, on our personalized tags, we don't even put made in India. We put made with dignity in India. You know, you want to know what country it's from? That's fine. But I want to tell you how it's been made. So the t-shirts that we sell are organic cotton, and that is nice. And when you feel it, it's buttery soft. And that's great. It's an amazing t-shirt. And that's the least impressive part about this shirt. But the t-shirt was actually made at a center in Kolkata, or in American English, Calcutta. I'm just accustomed to saying Kolkata. That's the way you'd say it in India. So in Kolkata, there are multiple red light districts. One of the red light districts, the largest, is called Sonagachi. There are over 11,000 women being prostituted out in that red light district alone. This group works with women coming out of that red light district, teaches them how to read and write, teaches them how to sew, teaches them how to package, label, and then gives them jobs with dignity. They pay them well. They help provide insurance and medical and childcare. These women have really incredible jobs because of these t-shirts. And they've also taught the ladies how to screen print. When we first started partnering with them, this was one of the first groups we started partnering with. They didn't do the screen printing, but now the screen printing is done there as well. Last year, 2019, I was able to go visit, and I happened to be there. I did a tour. I've met the people. I've done the tour before. I met them years ago, but I was able to go back with my husband after a tour, speaking on things. And I was able to visit, and they were printing our t-shirts while we walked through the tour. And the girl saw me wearing our hummingbird, and she like freaked out, and she's like, "I know that hummingbird." And she showed me, and like they were printing my t-shirts. So,
wow.
Anyway, those t-shirts are changing lives of women coming out of a red light district in Calcutta, India.
Wow. What a story. That is, all right. I'm going to wear this t-shirt, and I will be the most proud of maybe any t-shirt I've ever owned in my life. That is beautiful. And I can't think of a better way to wrap this thing up than that story right there. So Dawn, thank you so much for your time, sharing your experiences with ActiveCampaign, sharing your story of Made for Freedom. We will include links and everything to direct people towards your store and towards your virtual trunk shows. But again, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
What a story. We thought it would be cool if we could actually show you the shirt here, right now. So hang on a second. Here it is. Made for Freedom. Take a look at this. It is truly buttery soft, just as Dawn said it was. And honestly, it's kind of insane how soft the shirt is. All right, we've covered a lot here, but one thing that we would like to learn is advice for people who might be looking to get started. Finch, what advice or rules of thumb would you give to someone who's looking to get an abandoned cart automation out the door?
Well, just keep it simple to start. Even just one abandoned cart reminder will have over a 40% chance on average of being clicked on. And remember the best practices that we've been sharing. They're definitely going to help keep your email on track. And we asked Dawn and Jonathan the same thing. And here's what they had to say.
If there are people watching that are, looking to open an e-commerce store or start an e-commerce business or open an online store as a result of, the events of the last year, because who knows if in-person is going to get pulled again, whatever the case may be. What advice or best practices or, any words of wisdom that you might have for those people when it comes to abandoned cart automations?
Template.
Okay.
I mean, I have fun with them and I play with them and I get plenty that I at least start by myself. But then I walk in, virtually to the space and create an automation. And I think I know exactly what I need to do.
Right.
But if I take the time to kind of scan through, oh, well, ActiveCampaign, they kind of know a thing or two about emails. Maybe I'll see what they think. And like I said before, you guys are constantly adding new stuff, so I could have scanned through the automations. Oh, and look, there are like 3 new ones that I didn't see last time. So looking through those templates, and even if obviously I'm going to tweak it. Obviously, I'm going to put my own brand in there. I'm going to put my own language in there, but there are, yeah. And the marketplace. So I'd say template, marketplace, live chat. There we go. There are my 3. You said 1. Sorry. Those
3.
are my top 3.
You're an overachiever, Dawn. That's fantastic. There are people watching today that are either new to the e-commerce game or they don't have an abandoned cart automation. They're looking to get started with this. Do you have advice or best practices? We've talked about testing a lot. I kind of feel like that might be it. But is there anything by way of advice or what you would suggest?
Do it. If you've got an email service provider that offers automation, and you can get an abandoned shopping cart, think about it. This is a free service almost.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, you spend a lot of money on different advertising campaigns, on advertising this, advertising that. But once you got your customers on your website, they're shopping, they put something in your cart, they are interested, they are at the very bottom of that sales funnel. They're ready to purchase and something stopped them. So, you even spend money on rebranding to bring them back to your website, but you've already got everything in place with your email service provider. Get that email abandoned shopping cart going, because once you get it going, it runs. Look at it a couple weeks later, tweak it a little bit. It runs, tweak it a little bit a couple weeks later. It's kind of, I can ignore it for a couple weeks and it generates thousands of dollars for me.
Wow.
And then I'll tweak it a little bit more, and then it'll generate thousands more dollars for me. And then I'll tweak it a little bit more, and then it generates thousands of dollars for me.
Sure.
And it's just part of the something that I'm already paying for. And so it's just a perk.
That's awesome. I don't know if there's a better way to think this interview than that right there. That was perfect. Yeah. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. This is
thank you, sir.
Very helpful. And again, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Ernie.
All right. There you have it. At the end of the day, the best thing to do is just to get started. Use the resources available to you. And whether that's a framework or the data that you receive from your e-commerce platform to determine if you want to test it out or not. Don't push too hard. Gentle reminders work astonishingly well. Remember, your potential customer is already 90% of the way there. You can also create some urgency and provide an incentive. And as we come to a close, you might be curious as to how you can automate this type of thing, which means it's time for Automate That, the segment of the show where we show you how to automate that.
It's that time again. It's Cody Lindley. It's me. It's time to automate that. Cody, the marketplace manager at ActiveCampaign. How are you today, sir?
I'm feeling a little abandoned, Ernie.
You're feeling a little abandoned. Why is that?
Someone broke my cart.
I'm afraid to ask, but Cody, who broke your cart? Who did this to you?
I don't know. I'm just not feeling the connection. Maybe I should check my API and integration settings.
All right. There it is. Love it. Let's get into this thing before somebody abandons another cart and breaks your cart or something happens. Welcome to Automate That. As we mentioned here, Cody.
Welcome.
Good to be with you as always, my friend.
Great to see you and be with you, Ernie, as well.
Yes, love it. Time for the automation recipe of the week. Let's reveal this thing. We need a little drum roll.
That's drum rollish, right?
You know what? It passes in my book. Okay. What are we looking at, Cody?
Well, if you couldn't tell from the puns, we're talking about abandoned carts. Now, some of you might remember we talked about abandoned carts way back in the first episode, to which, I think we can get links to the people, right, Ernie?
Absolutely. Absolutely can do that.
Perfect. But today we're going to be looking at, so many people set up an abandoned cart, which if you have a digital storefront, you should be doing. But not many people iterate from there. So we're going to be looking at one specific way we can iterate and talking about a couple of other automations at the end too that are ways to think about how to run abandoned carts differently. And today's is the segmented abandoned cart email. Back of the baseball card stats. Industry, e-commerce, and retail is what we have here. But again, if you have a digital storefront, this is for you. Features, abandoned cart, custom fields or tags or anything that you are using to segment there. We just have custom fields as our example. And then of course, email to send that email to your customers. Use case, sales, experience level growth. You got to figure out how you want to segment it, and you got to make sure that your deep data integration is set up correctly. It's not hard, just a couple of steps before. And then of course, stage of the customer journey, that sweet, sweet convert and close.
Yes. Love it. Absolutely. Love it. Love that this abandoned cart automation just takes it, like you said, one step further. We're all about creating that incredible customer experience, a little bit more personalization here, and not just a blanket email that might be the same for everybody, but really taking into account who's abandoning the cart, what's their situation, what might set them apart, and what can we pull into that email that might make it a little bit more likely that they convert, or just feel that you care about them, who they are, and that you're providing a personalized experience. Fantastic. Moving into the benefits of the recipe, what are we looking at here?
Well, very first and foremost, any abandoned cart automation is going to help you win back lost sales through just a general reminder to contacts about their abandoned cart. We've discussed, I think we go down into the statistics a lot in that first episode. Feel free to go watch it. But, there is proof that people, all you have to do, you don't have to pester them. You just got to say, hey, you left this. Life happens, and they'll come back and buy.
Yep.
Secondly, absolutely. Yes. Oh, so sorry. Did you have more you wanted to elaborate on with that point?
No, it was just emphatically agreeing with what you were saying there.
Perfect. Just didn't want to cut you off accidentally, pal. Second, it allows you to segment your offer however you want. Truly, if you can make a condition for it, you can segment the offer. In our example, for instance, we check to see if the country is the United States. If it is, that's a domestic customer. I couldn't think of the word. So we're going to perhaps make them an offer like free shipping or something. But if it's not, it's an international customer. So maybe that's going to get a discount. You can start thinking that ways. There's other ways to do it. Is this the first time someone's abandoned a cart? Are they a member versus not a member, of your savings like club or whatever? There's so many different ways. And I bet you can think of even more for your customer base that we probably won't cover here today, but set it up, try it out. It's going to be great. People love when you personalize deals to them. And then of course, third, you can, which this ties into it, you can adjust the abandoned cart messaging and offering dynamically for those different audiences as well.
Yes. Perfect. You said I couldn't have said it any better. I've got nothing to add to this. That was wonderful. Okay, Cody, we're going to the automation store. What are we putting in the cart?
Well, we're going to get a little abandoned cart trigger, put it in our cart. We're going to get an if else action, put it in our cart. And then there's a 2-for-1 on send email actions. So we're going to grab that and of course, right in our cart. Now, if I start to walk away from the cart, Ernie, what are you going to do?
Hey, Cody, hey.
Oh, I don't want to miss these great deals. And
I'm
back to buy the ingredients we need.
You've got to buy one, get one on emails. Okay.
Exactly.
We didn't abandon the cart. We completed the checkout. We got the ingredients home. They're on the counter. Mise en place. Let's get this stuff together before we could start cooking. What do we got to do first?
First, integrate your deep data integration to use the abandoned cart feature, and we have help docs here for that. Secondly, decide on how you want to segment the audiences, a little process first before software, and decide who's going to receive those emails with specific offers. So that's great to think about so that you can get in and just build it out very simply with whatever segmenting condition you already have in the system.
Awesome. So I have one question here on this first point. I noticed the deep data integration. Is this possible without a deep data integration?
Yes, but that'll require a little bit more work on your end. It all depends on what your digital storefront is. You could use maybe site tracking to see if they went to your checkout page, but not your thank you for your purchase page after time. Or perhaps, you have a third-party connection like Zapier, and like there's an abandoned cart trigger you can set and then just trigger the automation. There definitely are other different ways to look at it. You'll just need to figure out how you want that to work. Deep data is just what we use in our example, and it's one of the easiest ones to implement with ActiveCampaign.
Gotcha. So it is possible. It's just a little bit simpler with the deep data integration and the abandoned cart trigger. Let's get into that. Let's take a look here. Here's the journey of the recipe. What are we looking at?
So the trigger, when someone abandons that cart through your deep data integration, we're going to enter here. Again, that's if you need more steps, for instance, like another if else checking after an hour or so. Hey, did they reach that thank you step using site tracking? Nope. Then let's send them there. If yes, let's exit the automation. This is where you'd want to build that out. But the if else that we have here is, as I mentioned, our example was country or region is United States. If the answer is no, they're international. Yes, they're getting domestic. And something I want to point out here is you might be thinking, well, I actually have 3 audiences, 5 audiences. I'm already thinking of a couple of different segments that all go along the same thing. There is no reason that you can't build out more if else actions and more emails. In fact, we encourage you to do so. Really make this your own. It's about segmenting that abandoned cart offer. So if you have more segments that you're thinking of, please pursue them.
Yes, that's definitely that salt to taste step of the recipe. If you have some specific segments, some specific use cases in mind, you could absolutely build those in here with that if else condition. And also one thing to point out, this automation recipe sends one abandoned cart email, but you might be in a position where you would like to send multiple. If you want to send just a general reminder and then after a day, maybe give them a discount or send them a second general reminder, something like that, you could definitely add in a wait step after that first email and then send a second, a third, a fourth email, depending on how long you want to go.
Yep. As with all of our recipes, once you download it, it is yours to customize freely. So build out your dream abandoned cart automation with this.
Beautiful. Okay, so these are not the only abandoned cart recipes we have. As Cody mentioned in episode 1, we covered what might be considered the gold standard, just the general abandoned cart recipe. Here we have the segmented one, but Cody, we have some related abandoned cart recipes. What are we looking at?
Yeah, so the very first one, kind of a segment on its own, but the very first time a cart is abandoned, offering that hook. Maybe it's a discount. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's like a free session of some sort. But yep, you got $1 on the end of that fishing line and you're reeling them in. It's something that, hey, you're new. We want to make you a customer. And then to returning customers, it just sends a general abandoned cart email. Secondly, frequently abandoned cart notifications. So if we notice that people are abandoning cart multiple times, then we notify you or your sales team or, whoever you'd want to notify. That's the best part about one of those notification actions. You decide the email it goes to. And we say, hey, this person's abandoning the cart a lot, but they keep abandoning. Maybe there is something they need, that human touch, to get them over the finish line, which Ernie, I believe we were talking earlier, and you've seen this like a lot, with any sort of sales. Sometimes people become, what was the word you used, Ernie?
Chronic cart abandoners.
Yeah. Chronic cart abandoners. I love that phrase. It's so good. But yeah, and then of course, third, we have Black Friday. That's when we released it, but really for any holiday or sale, an abandoned cart email series. It just operates knowing that you don't have as much time to make a decision, reminding them, hey, we don't want you, yes, of course we'd love the sale, but we also want you to have a good experience. We don't want you to sit here next week and be like, oh, I wish I'd snagged that when it was on sale, because that just creates a bad experience for everyone. And you want to be like, hey, we don't want you to miss it. You're helping them remember, so that if they go off, have to go get coffee, they have an appointment, they come back, they're like, oh yes, I did want to do this before I forgot.
Yes, I love all 3 of these because what this really highlights is the fact that there are multiple different situations in any abandoned cart situation, right? Having that initial abandoned cart automation recipe set up is something you should absolutely do as an e-commerce, or if you have an online storefront, should definitely set that up. But then thinking about that is only maybe the tip of the iceberg, right? What else is below the surface? What could be the underlying scenario? What could be the different audiences? Whether you're a first-time cart abandoner or you're, like we said, one of those chronic cart abandoners. Cody, wasn't there one of those running loose in your hometown?
Yeah. Don't worry though. We finally got them to finally quit abandoning their carts. But I remember the newspaper headline: chronic cart abandoner threatens town,
Well, I'm glad that that situation was resolved. But again, you can go into these different situations, think about the different segments, think about your audience, think about where they might be and what you can use from an automation standpoint to cater to those different people, those different segments of people. All right.
Exactly. Not only are you thinking of them, but then you're helping your business. It literally helps, high tides raise all ships,
There we go. I think that is where we should end this thing. Cody, as always, a pleasure talking to you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this wonderful recipe with us today.
Of course. Thank you as well, Ernie. Have a great day.
And that is our show. Thank you to Jonathan and thank you to Dawn for providing us with the insights and answering our questions about abandoned cart automations. Thank you to the ActiveCampaign marketing team for sharing some abandoned cart emails that they have received. Thank you, Finch, for joining us today as co-host and lending us your insights, your experiences with abandoned cart emails for Scofflaw. And as always, thank you for watching. Now, I think we want to return to that angry, furious little toad one more time. Go forth and automate.